interesting. The more I think about the stories in my own life, and I love telling stories. I love a good story. But the more I think about stories in my life, the more I realise that the stories I tell aren't true. Right? They're interpretations of an event that actually happened, but I've changed the story a little bit to make it a bit funnier, or I've changed it to, and that could apply to all of the stories we tell in all of our lives, right? You know, we change the stories to serve ourselves and our own narrative. Now, you've got a far greater perspective on stories than I have. So what role does stories play in our lives? And how do we potentially change that narrative in the stories we tell ourselves to serve us better?
They're hugely important. I mean, Hilary will come up with and tell us an example in a moment, I'm sure. But, you know, however far back you go in human history, there are stories.
Yeah.
It's the medium by which we've always tried to make sense of what happens to us, and particularly the things that we don't readily understand. So, you know, that's where the myths and the legends have come from. And we do them as a way of protecting ourselves, I think. So something happens and we know we've got to talk to about that to other people. So we take a kind of snapshot of the events and we create the story around it. And usually in my experience, what happens is we have a couple of versions of it earlier on. We keep doing subtle changes until we get the reaction that we want from the people that we're telling it to.
That is true. That is.
And then it becomes fixed. But the thing is, we're still telling it in that same format 10, 20, 30, 40 years later. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. If somebody helps us go back to that event and look at it through a different lens or from a different person in the story, then we get a different view of it, a broader, richer view of it.